I'll show you a map that shows the some of the danger zones that's in that Arctic region. These are some of the nuclear facilities that may lose cooling power. We don't know how many of these will lose their cooling power, but I wouldn't want to be in those red circles.
All of this going off also North and South. I may be wrong, but I think I've heard you say before, North and South America is where most of the meteor shower is going to occur in pounds so bad. Is that correct?
Because it's describing 1/3 landmass being hit. There's only one part of the globe that fits that scenario. That's North and South America. And for Jerusalem is on the opposite side in the dark. So you only get half of the Earth that's going to be hit, that's going through a meteor shower. There's no way that they could have
Wow.
described these things so exact. Remember, they had no knowledge that even America existed yet. And South America, they had no clue that there was 1/3 of the landmass over there. They didn't have satellite views. They didn't even have a concept that Earth was in a sphere shape yet. Tell me how the text matches. Explain that to me. Matches a
I can't,
model.
Gil. It's amazing the way it goes together. And it's where the most horrific, and these areas will go through the tail twice, so that means we're going to get two pretty horrific meteor showers. Is that right?
Right. Meteor shower in March right here, which is the first one. The meteor the path of this comes out of August. It rounds the sun, and it passes through March here. The meteor shower is in the daytime sky here in March. Now, as Planet X is going into deeper space, Earth is traveling its normal orbit, and 150 to 152 days later, it runs into the debris field that's left behind here. And that debris field is coming from the night side of Earth. It's going to push us inward. This is where Wormwood, the fiery mountain, hits us. It pushes Earth orbit slightly inward, and then probably Enoch's calendar is going to go into effect, where it says 165 days a year. Because from this point on, we won't be able to find out the day of the resurrection and rapture, which is 1,260 days later. It lands on the 7th month. On the first day of that month on the Hebrew calendar, it's already known as, in the Hebrew custom, that no man knows the day or the hour, because you have to witness the new moon to know when it starts. That's the only feast day that's on the beginning of a month of a Hebrew month. But it's going to turn out to be actual that we will not know the day, because we're going to lose track of time after this second event. Our solar year is going to be altered, and we'll literally not know the day or the hour. Even though today we can count on a calendar from March 26th out to 1,260 days, we can mark that on a calendar today. But that doesn't mean we're going to know that day when it comes time to that, because we already lost 12 hours on the first event. Midnight is noon. Noon is midnight. What do you call that day? Is it the prior day, or is it a new day? What do you call it? You can't call it.
Really?
I mean, are we going to eat lunch at midnight now? So they
That's right.
they have to redefine it. So straight off the bat, we're off a day right there. That ain't counting the second hit.
Gil, I'm gonna get down to some of the nuts and the bolts, so we'll have maybe a few minutes to answer a few questions. We're already working on over an hour and a half. But
Oh, okay.
whenever whenever we first start to be able to see this, what will it look like, do you think, and where should we look?
We look in the constellation Sagittarius. That's where all of the data is pointing us to. You see where the Pioneer and Voyager probes were. if you reverse the model, it puts us exactly, it's exactly on the ecliptic. But take a look at this. What are the odds of this happening? That it's on where the software is placing it, it's the same distance from the Voyager 2 as it is from the Voyager 11, at the same angle from it. Wouldn't it be kind of like what an engineer would tell the satellite to do from a perspective of Earth?
You would think so, wouldn't you? It looks very much like that.
Okay. I have another question for you. What about, there's 88 constellations, and the scientific reports, there's 4 different ones. We have the physical, where they sent the space probe, and we have like 10 or 12 biblical accounts where the model works out the same, and it all points to one constellation out of 88, and that
Sagittarius.
And it's not just anywhere in Sagittarius, but on the ecliptic.
It's where he's pulling it.
Yes. So the data, if we follow the data, and we followed, NASA sent the probes looking for this object, for it to all line up, why aren't we following the data? That's all I got to ask people. Why are you denying data? This is where it's pointing to. And this is the same region of space Matisse and Whitmire talked about, that they were saying that the orbits of comets are warped. There are 2 independent studies. One is from the UK by Dr. John Murray. The other one is from US, their astrophysicist, Dr. Matisse Whitmire, that the orbits of comets are warped by gravity. And that's in our solar system. And guess where that's at? In the region of Sagittarius. For you to have objects warped by gravity, doesn't that mean you have to have a pretty large body to be warping them?
You have to have a very huge, large body. I keep jumping around, but this Planet X, Nibiru, in history, have you found anything where it's ever perturbed Jupiter in any way?
Not to my knowledge. I mean, it might exist, but it might be censored. You see here,
Okay,
watch.
well,
Take a look at this. Here's a encyclopedia article. All right, from the Britannica. What year? I'm not quite sure what year this is in. It states in the article 4.7 billion miles away. That was in 1979, before they censored the information. Guess what? According to our model, on that date and year, it was 4.67 billion. You think that's close enough?
I think that's mighty, mighty close. Wow.
And this
Gill.
and this is before they censored data. You got to look beyond 1993, earlier than 1993. And this goes on and on.
I just don't understand why the powers to be just will not acknowledge this. They know about it. They have to know about it. They've been studying it. They had, like you say, they've got their Voyager, their Pioneers. They got all that. They've been watching it. They know people to resign from different areas of the government saying some kind of catastrophe would happen, but they never said what. Well, I think it's this. What do you think?
Yes. They just had to hold back the information because they had to protect markets. The markets give them the financing to build these underground facilities. They're not for me and you, to tell you the truth. They're for the elite and the special secret societies. And I had that confirmed from a person who's in one of these secret societies, because they tried to misrecruit me in it. I just fished him for information until I was satisfied, and he was nodding his head, and then I said, no, thank you. I'm not going to these facilities, because the Bible tells me that that's their grave anyway.
Right. Well, Gill, to the best of your calculations and your knowledge, not trying to put you on the spot, but everybody's going to want to know when to watch for this. When do you think it's going to happen? Just tell us what you think.
Well,
And we
to
know it's
clear
what.
things up, I don't have a crystal ball. I cannot predict the future. Can tell you that there's a date given in Revelation 12:1, which we can associate with a date. He gives a unique, they say, alignment in the sky. That is March 26th, near March 20, either 25th, 26th, 27th, somewhere in there, where it says the moon is at the foot of Virgo. A crown of 12 stars is, you see, above her head. That's, remember in Joseph's dream, he had 11 stars. That was Leo. The 12th star on this one is Jupiter added to it, which is the king planet. Just like the constellation shifts over 1800 years, you have a new constellation for the solar calendar. And then you have the moon that has a 29.5-day orbit, but it also has an orbit of 18 years for the high point to bring it under the foot of Virgo. Then you have this planet that no one knows, it doesn't have a steady orbit. How could they have guessed this date 2,000 years ago? They can't. It has to
No,
be
they can't.
it has to be some sort of divine entity that can tell the future, because they needed at least 4 to 6 decimal places of accuracy to better predict the moon and Jupiter, and know that the constellation shift over 1800 years. And this is a view after the 12-hour delay on Earth's rotation from the viewpoint of Jerusalem at midnight.
Things are going to happen here on Earth to give us some signs of when something may happen also.
Well,
Don't you think maybe like the possibility of war? Would you look for war maybe before we would see it?
Well, sure. Bible gives us also additional events here. Let's see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Well, 1 and 2 has already happened. That's the third war, which has already started. CO3 is about to happen, which is economic collapse. If anybody is paying attention to this trouble financially the world is in, this is what's fixing to happen within months from now, or weeks from now. You could count it. And then after this is what is a war in the Middle East. It's going to start in the middle, but you're going to have global terrorism raise its ugly head globally. And you're going to have war, famine, and pestilences. It's plural. And 1/4 of the world population dies from this. With the Illuminati has already made known that they want to reduce world population, and they need to reduce it before the event happens, because they're trying to reduce population to where there's going to be a shortage of food and production, to where they can control and manage the situation better. Well, CO4 talks about that. CO5 talks about a peace agreement, which is prior to the event of CO6, which is the first meteor shower. And according to Daniel's timeline, if CO6 is to start at March 26, 2016, that means the peace agreement is around January 11th. And in between January and March is February, which gives you 40-day warning, like in Jonah, the time of Jonah, warning to, remember, Yeshua said to adulterous and wicked nation, you only have one warning. That's the warning of Jonah. Well, Jonah had 2 warnings, one to Nineveh and one about his event in the whale. He told Nineveh, you have 40 days before your destruction. I believe this is when the global governments will tell the people, in 40 days, this event is a serious event. It will, and then in 40 days, it's just rounding the sun, and you can clearly see it. After that, it's coming closer and closer to Earth at the 40-day mark.
So March 26th of next year, 2016, things should be going on, all right?
Right now, we're in a Shemitah, it's called. This is the 7th year, the year of rest. In the 6th year, you're supposed to stock up 1 year food for this 7th year.